Hello, hello. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Weddings Unscripted. And today we have a special guest, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And I'm literally not just saying that. So Nevica Vazquez is here to join us. She is my personal business strategist. We have been in a group coaching program. She was actually one of the leaders of a group coaching program I did. And then I went on to work with her one-on-one, not once, but twice now. And anytime she'll let me book time in her calendar, she's got access to my bank account. Yeah. So she's amazing, but not only because she is a true biz strategy, I'm just going to say it, badass.
You are.
But because she has one of the purest and kindest and truest of intentions hearts, if that's even a word or a phrase, I just made it up. I don't really care. That I know. And the reason why I always work with Nevica is because I truly trust her with all the pieces of my business. So I just want to say that because I can't say enough great things about you. But what was the intro?
Oh, and then there's Kristin. Possibly the best intro I ever got in my life.
And then hey, there's Kristin.
Yeah. Hey, there's me. Well, I just got to say, I think just to back up what Ginny's saying about you, Nevica, I think the first time when we really met in person at the Savvy Retreat, and you came and hung out in the hotel room with Ginny and I, and we just started talking business, and you just started rattling off amazing marketing ideas, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, that day was so much fun.
Yeah. Have you thought of this? What about this? You should do this. I'm like, this is awesome.
She was fooling our Uber driver.
Oh.
Legit. We were in Uber and she was like, let's talk about your business plan for a second. Because I think you need to be making a lot more profit than you are right now.
That's so funny because they were complaining that business wasn't good. So we were like, let's figure this out.
Let's unpack that a little.
Yeah. Let's talk. And he thinks Nevica's 12. By the way, he's like, what is this 12-year-old
this girl
know about my business, my Uber?
Fourth grader know about my business.
Yeah.
So that was really funny.
Yeah. It was. So you might be wondering what we're actually going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to the three of our hearts, which is masterminds. A lot of people really, especially in the wedding industry, they don't know what masterminds are. They've never been in a mastermind. They don't really understand how impactful and life-changing, business-changing being in a mastermind is. And Nevica is the perfect person to talk about this with because she really has a business of not only biz strategy, but she's super passionate about the transformation being in a mastermind can make for your business. So we're just going to have a little candid chit chat of all of our experiences of being in a mastermind. But first off, I'm going to let Nevica tell you really the definition of what is a mastermind. So for someone that just really has no idea, it's the first time we're hearing the word, just tell us what it is.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm really excited to be here and chat with you. And I can totally agree. I have definitely seen that people in the wedding industry don't so much know about what mastermind groups are. And I do think a lot of people kind of confuse what the word is, and because there's different types of masterminds. So originally, the term mastermind, I think, was coined by Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, as one of his 9 principles of the things you have to do to become rich. And the way he explains it is kind of jargony. So I'll tell you what that is, but then I'll tell you the non-jargon version that I came up with. His definition is the coordination of knowledge and effort of 2 or more people who work toward a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony. So that's pretty confusing, but basically he's trying to say, so basically he's trying to say people who work together to collect what's in each other's brains. But the definition that I pretty much use in our industry is a group of people who get together on a consistent basis to offer support, feedback, and new ideas that will help you progress from where you currently are. So really a mastermind group is a group of people who get together on a consistent basis in a meeting kind of format, kind of like how we're on a call right now, to figure out how they can use the knowledge they have to help each other grow their businesses.
Absolutely.
And really, masterminds don't just have to be about businesses. I know that's what we're talking about today, but on like a life scale, like you can really have a mastermind group with like your girlfriends or like moms from school or something like that on like, let's figure out how we can all save money for a vacation this summer and like come up with a plan and hold each other accountable. So mastermind groups can be about anything, but today we're talking about how to use them like in your wedding based business. But hopefully that's an understandable definition.
No, I love that definition. Yeah. So it's really good. So there's a lot of different masterminds. So sometimes you can be in a free mastermind, but then sometimes you can be in a paid mastermind. And I'm sure a lot of people see both of kind of like free is just, you know, maybe you were invited by someone who started it, or maybe you start your own, or there's really a paid one. So I would love to know just your thoughts on, you know, what the differences are between a free mastermind and then really what you get when you join a paid mastermind.
Yeah. So a free mastermind, I like to also call a peer-to-peer mastermind. So that's a free mastermind is usually when you get together with a bunch of your colleagues or friends and start your own mastermind with each other as peers. So everyone's on an equal playing field. And you decide, okay, we're going to start this mastermind, and this is how often we're going to meet. This is the directions of how we're going to do it. These are the rules. These are the guidelines. And you start it. Really, all there is to it is deciding you're going to start it, finding the right people to get in it, which is probably what will make or break your group, because that's the biggest part, is finding the right people.
The right
in it with
people
you
is really important.
Yeah. And
actually showing up.
Yes, and actually showing up. So finding the right people and setting the guidelines or the rules of the mastermind is what it takes to start your own mastermind group. I'm a huge proponent of starting your own mastermind group, because if you want to be in a free one, like, you could end up waiting the rest of your life to be invited into one. So just start your own.
Take the initiative.
Yeah, and invite the people.
You know what you want, then you know, and if
then you
know
get to pick who's in it. If you start your own.
There's so many benefits to it, for sure. So that's a free one. I really like to call it a peer-to-peer mastermind. And then the difference between that and a paid one is, in the paid mastermind, usually there's a leader. So there's going to be someone who's the host or the leader of the mastermind, and you're going to expect that they know what they're talking about. Expect that they have a really amazing community of other people who will want to join. So there's a lot of things that are different here. It could be like for 3 months or for 6 months, you're paying money to join this one. You have no control of who's in this one. Sometimes they have like education that comes with the mastermind. So like every week you're learning or implementing something new. But I think the thing that really makes it, sometimes people call their group programs a mastermind, but really it's just a group program. So you have to be careful about that. Again, the definition of a mastermind group is a group of people who get together on a consistent basis to offer support, feedback, and new ideas that will help you progress from where you currently are. So if you're not getting that like accountability, feedback, kind of vibe or environment, then it's like a group program. It's not a mastermind group. You need that feedback for it to be a mastermind group. So be wary of that when you see people calling their group programs mastermind.
So they're just teaching like at you. That's not necessarily a mastermind. It needs to be, you're getting feedback from multiple people and elevating yourself.
And that's what we do differently inside of the Wedding Business Academy, is because the Academy is a group program, but inside of it, we do have small, intimate masterminds where you are getting that led mastermind by Kristin and I. You are getting that direct peer-to-peer feedback, and it's a led mastermind where we're, you know, asking you and holding you accountable, or each person inside of the smaller mastermind. So I really like that you brought that up.
Yeah. And sometimes people will find that better, right? Because like there's pros to cons in both, right? The pros of starting your own peer-to-peer led mastermind is you get to decide the rules. You get to decide who's in it. And that's huge, right? Getting to decide who's in it. When you're just joining one as a group program mastermind kind of situation, then you don't get to decide who's in it. So hopefully you trust, like, people who are joining yours trust you guys enough to understand they cultivate a community of people I would want to be around.
Right.
Like, you don't want to join one and then end up with a bunch of negative Nancys in the group and it like sucks, right? So you have to be careful of like, who are they cultivating in their community? Who's in their Facebook group that's like commenting and participating? Who is always commenting on their Instagram posts? So just like paying attention to who's joining those things. And also you may not want to start your own mastermind because you're like, that's a crap ton of work that I don't want to do. I don't want to reach out to people. I don't want to be held accountable as being like the host or the leader of this thing. So I'd rather just join these people who know exactly what they're talking about, have already been through what I want to do and can tell me exactly what to do. And another, I would say that's a huge pro of joining a paid mastermind because these people are expected to know the answers to your questions, right? Whereas something that not a lot of people talk about with peer-to-peer led masterminds is they may not have the answers to your questions. They may all have different opinions on the answers to your question. And then it's really up to you, right? You're going to have to figure out at the end of the day, which is the right path to take based on like weighing everybody's opinions. And sometimes that could be really detrimental, the advice you're getting from people in those peer-to-peer led masterminds. So there definitely are pros and cons to both.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point.
Because I think that, or go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Kristin, what is your personal experience with peer versus paid?
Yeah, so I've kind of done both. I have done, obviously, with you, Ginny, the Savvy Business Circle with Heather Crabtree, which Nevica was our small group mastermind leader at the time, which was great. So I got that experience of having someone, other people that, because you and Raina were the hosts that year, and having you guys be there to sort of lead and guide and answer questions because you were at a different level than most of us that were there. So that I think was definitely huge. And now I've also been in a free peer-to-peer mastermind for the last couple of years now, which Ginny is now in as well.
Yeah. They finally gave me a golden ticket.
That's awesome. Mastermind. With our good friends Megan Maydell and Jessica Freeman, and awesome. And so we meet once a month, and it is what you made a great point there, Nevica, where you are kind of going to a free or a paid for different things. You're going to a paid for more of that expert feedback, for more of that advice in a way, in an area that you may not know as much about, versus a peer-to-peer, I feel like is more just getting feedback or being like, helping with the motivation side of it or the holding accountable side of it. I feel like that's what you're going to get more out of a peer-to-peer, which is what we get out of ours, which is great. Our ladies are super accountable and, helping. And it's great too, because we also have like a Voxer conversation. So we kind of follow up in between our monthly masterminds where if we have a quick, like, guys, I don't know what to do about this situation. Like, you have other people you can turn to for advice, but it's not necessarily like you're going to that for that expert level of advice. I think that's where paid masterminds are amazing, because you will get, the better answers to stuff in that way.
Right.
Yeah. I love that you said that. I think you're dead on, like, the accountability. A lot of us don't really leave the house that much or know anybody in our communities who have their own businesses. So being able to just talk to somebody else and be like, does this even make sense? Like, just tell me if this makes sense, or am I crazy? And just having people who are like, I'm having a crap day. Can you listen to me for a second? And like walk me through this. And those are like things we really, really need. Like, I really learned that this past year. Like, if you don't have that, you can totally burn out and break down. And like, if you don't have that feedback, think you're not going to make it and really not make it as a solo work at home, work online business owner.
Sometimes it's just talking it out and then answering your own question, because you talked it out and it's like, okay, well, now that I've said all that to you, I know what I'm supposed to do.
I know what I should do.
Thanks for listening. But just having someone to where you don't feel like you're crazy, because like you said, when you work from home, it's not that I'm meeting 5 people at an office every day, or even one person. And just having all the ideas in my head and making sure, like, is this right? Am I on the right path? Am I doing this with true intention? Just having people that you truly trust that are going to put you in check. And that's something that's important to me in a mastermind is I don't want to just have people that are going to always lift me up. I mean, obviously I want that.
Like constant, like, yes, people. Yeah.
Right. But I want someone that says, hey girl, hey, what are you doing? You're a little off track.
I don't know about that idea.
Yeah. You need to come back over here a little bit. And restructure it and kind of give you an idea of like really where you're going off kilter with and things like that. So I think that it's really important to be in a mastermind with people that you trust. If you're starting your own mastermind, it's tempting to just be like, oh, let me just invite my 5 biz besties. But I think you need to be really intentional with like, where are they in their business? Are they actually going to make time to show up? Are they going to take a mastermind serious?
Yeah.
Because I know plenty of people that have been in the wrong mastermind.
Yeah, and that's super hurtful.
Yeah, and it's really hard, and like you said, it can be detrimental.
Yeah.
To you and your business and just your overall self-esteem. So it's important to really think through being in a mastermind, the type of mastermind. But bottom line, I mean, I personally feel that every business owner needs some form of mastermind, whether it's self-started, you're invited, or you're paying. I would probably recommend to be in a peer-to-peer first before you jump into a paid one. Would you agree with that, Nevica, or what do you think?
I don't think there's really that big of a difference, because sometimes I think some people need to do the paid one first to understand the dynamics and to like see it led. And I think a few of us like were in paid ones first.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. I did do a paid one first.
Yeah, I think like I led a more like all the ones I was in, I led before I like started my own. So yeah, like I was getting paid to lead them, but I needed that to like learn like the dynamics of it before now people like pay me to run, like pay to join mine. So yeah, I don't think there's really that big of a difference, but I do want to go back to what you were saying with how important it is about who you invite. And so one of the reasons that I love Mastermind so much is because they like changed my life like last year. Really, it gets like really deep with some of these masterminds, as I'm sure you guys know, like you break down crying at some points of the year.
Been there.
And they just like are there for you more than like your family and other people in your life.
It's truly transformational.
Yeah, don't understand anything about like business or anything like that. And like through that, I created a process for starting your own mastermind. And it's called the Mastermind Starter Kit. And the first phase of that is the step-by-step of exactly what you need to do to find the right people.
Oh, I love that.
How to like where to look for finding people, how to interview them before and stalk them before you invite them to join, getting them to sign a contract before they join, like really testing people to see how serious they are before they agree to join, because it is that serious, like who you ask to be in it or not. So like what you were saying about like finding the right people, like I really stalked people. Like I didn't just ask my business besties, like I stalked people, then I interviewed them without them knowing it was for the mastermind to see if I wanted them to be in it. Because it's a full-on commitment of your time, like 1 hour a week or however many times you can do it a month. And I wanted to make sure I was around people who, what's that quote? Like the 5 people you're around the most is like who you become, right? So like I wanted to make sure I was around people who I actually wanted to be like. So I even felt like they probably think I'm full of crap, but I feel like all of the people in my mastermind are ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And I did that intentionally because I wanted to like come up to their level and like just be surrounded by that kind of energy. So being in a mastermind with the right people is super important. And I have heard a lot of horror stories about people who are in bad ones.
Yes.
And that could just change your whole mindset on everything going on in your business. You could think you're like doing everything wrong. So it's really important to, when you decide, okay, I'm going to start one on my own, taking the time to find the right people before you like officially start it.
Right.
Yeah. Because you don't want to end up basically just teaching or coaching other people the entire time. You want it to be equally beneficial for everybody in the mastermind. So like you said, you have to be at a level that makes sense, as opposed to, I've heard that happen a lot where people will join them and then they're like, I basically ended up coaching people for free every week. And that it's a waste of your time if that's not going to help you as well.
And a way to fix that, if that does happen, is so one of the things that I include in the starter kit is a contract of like how to get in and how to get out if you want to get out. But also I think mastermind should have time limits of like when we should regroup and decide, is this still beneficial for all of us? If it's not, then let's like leave it as it is and part ways. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually interviewed a lot of people as I was creating the starter kit to better understand like how they've gone through masterminds and like what's worked and what hasn't worked. And one of the ladies I interviewed said that she joins a new mastermind every 6 months. So she goes into the mastermind knowing it's going to end at like, she starts it herself and she tells everybody, okay, we're doing this for 6 months and then it's going to end. And then she starts a new one because she wants to get around new people and new ideas and constantly just like build her network that way of meeting people and like connecting ideas, etc. So I would say like a good marker is 2 to 3 months. Like, let's test this out for 2 to 3 months. If we like it, we'll decide on that month to keep it going. If not, then we'll part ways. So build that in so that if you do feel like trapped, you know, there's like an out.
Yeah.
That is very smart.
Oh, I really like that. No, definitely. Awesome. Well, this is,
by the way, we will link this all below. So if you're all like,
don't
where do
worry.
we get the starter kit? Description box will have it.
This has been such an awesome conversation. Nevica, can you tell everybody a little bit more about how they can find out about you, how they can find your starter kit? Give us all the deets.
Well, I'm pretty much just on my website at nevicavazquez.com. So www.nevicavazquez.com. You can just click on the mastermind button there. It'll be all up in your face as soon as you get there. So you can just click on that and you can get access to my free mastermind quick start checklist. And that is every single thing you need to do to be able to start a mastermind group. And if you just want to go straight for the starter kit, which is like the full product of all the contracts, the tools, the video tutorials and the step-by-step, that'll be on my website too under Masterminds. You'll be able to quickly find it, but I definitely recommend starting off with the quick start checklist. But thanks so much, guys.
And we'll link everything below in the comments, so don't worry if you can't spell Vazquez. So, we got
two Z's.
Yeah.
I never get it right.
Yeah. So awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. Thank you, Nevica, for being here.
Yes, thank you.
This was so awesome, and we will chat with all of you guys later. Bye.
Bye.